Welcome, Crimson Warriors and readers. I am Admin Sophia here to do an interview video with DC Evers, aka Sevi.
Hey everybody!
All right, let's get to these questions. The writer's questions. What got you into writing originally?
Creative minds, active pen, and voila. No, I've always had an active imagination, so I figured, if I could imagine it, I could write it, and I just put my good thoughts to pen and paper until the computers became more popular, and then I hopped on the computer and met a bunch of you cool people.
Yes, because I am awesome. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Do you like role playing like we do more than writing a story on your own?
Actually, I do. I find writing with others is way better. Being interactive with other people, you can bounce ideas off of everybody. When you write by yourself, it's a little bit more irritating because you have to come up with, plots on your own. You don't get to mingle with other people. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
writing
it's a
with
lot more
people.
fun.
Yeah, it is.
What
Especially at like 4 in the morning in a chat room. So
What drew you to Crimson War RPG?
you did, you bitch. No. um, you know, Crimson Kiss died, and we needed a fun place to roleplay. And when you created CW, it was it was like a new home. So you
Well,
know,
I'm glad I could fill the void.
you have filled my void.
Do you find role playing and writing these darker sides makes you less likely to do bad things in real life?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, because if I didn't have characters like Sevanni and Hyde, I would be in prison for murder right now. So my characters are a big outlet for me.
Oh my goodness. Oh. What is your biggest roleplay pet peeve?
God modding, and I'm pretty sure almost all of my fellow role players will say God modding, but it is definitely God modding.
Yeah, I cannot stand it when people are like, okay, and I'll read people's thing on Facebook, and I'm just like, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, see, that's the difference between Facebook role players, and I don't want anybody to take offense to this, but Facebook role players are kind of one-sided, and whereas if you post on a forum like where we are, it's more you can come back to it, you can rewrite it, there's tons of things you can do on a forum, and Facebook is just so boring, and the lack of writing in some of these, um, well, we'll quote on writers, um, is a little appalling. And to think that role playing on Facebook is just one outlet rather than joining a forum where it's a lot better. Well, I just don't see the point.
Yeah.
I mean, you might role play on Facebook, and some other of our people might as well, but we're forum made. We know how to write.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of these people jump on Facebook and they think that what they're doing is kind of related to what we do, but it's not.
Definitely
So
not. And I can't stand when they write in first person. I'm like, I'm a third person. I cannot write in first person.
yes, oh, I hate that too. Or they'll do a double. It's third person and first person in the same post.
Oh my god. Okay. Now to fun questions. Any characters you relate to?
Let's see. I mean, I put myself in all of my characters. There's a little bit of myself in every still one of them. But if I had to choose one, then, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be surprised, but I would say it would have to be Annabella Romini. And her face I use is Alicia Cuthbert, and she's my innocent character who really wants to explore the danger side of life, but is too much of a fraidy cat to do it. And when she does get into that crazy side of life, she kind of doesn't know how to, you know, fix what's wrong. But it's difficult to explain, but she's my favorite one so far that could, be relatable to me.
Oh, awesome. I'm gonna
Surprised?
have to read up on her. But
Yeah, my little
okay.
blonde bitch.
Werewolves or vampires and why?
uh, you know, vampires, immortality. And as a vampire, you never need to spend money on food. You can just grab up some dumb drunk bitch in an alley and suck her dry and dump her in the dumpster.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
But no, no, I don't think I'd like the pain of changing. I don't think I'd like that. But yeah, I wouldn't have to stay on food.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
If you had one favorite character of yours, which would it be?
My favorite character, aside from Sevanni, obviously, I would have to say Hyde. Hyde is my absolute favorite. He's so bloody disgusting.
It's always the demented
Um,
ones we like.
yeah, but yeah, right? Who doesn't like Ian Somerhalder? He's fucking sexy.
What about your favorite
um,
couple?
my favorite couple.
Hmm.
Uh, you know what? And this will probably piss a lot of people off. And I'm sorry, Chelsea, for doing this to you, but I have to go back in time and I have to say, and I hope I'm saying her name right, Emist or Emist and Savani. And they were just really good together when they first hooked up because they're both really horrible people.
Oh my
They
goodness.
are.
What happened to me?
Sorry.
I need to get her back.
I know she's got, real life stuff going on. So
Okay, well, if you could create your own couple, not from yours, who would you pair together?
oh, that is difficult and um a little bit a little bit alarming at the same time. um Couples not from my own, that would have to be, ooh, I would really love to see, and I know they're played by the same person, but I would like to see what would happen if Wicked and Katra hooked up.
Oh,
Because
snap.
if it wasn't if it wasn't Kitty Cat and Savani, I would love to see how she is with Wicked.
Okay. Oh, favorite storylines
Sorry.
with each of the characters you remember, and you could pick your like top five.
Okay. Favorite storylines. Off the bat right away, is when Savani took over the coven, on original CK, and I mean we all know how that turned out. um, and I also like, it has to involve my characters.
Yeah.
Let me think. Okay, James and Savani. James and Savani, absolutely. That was what started the entire war on OGCK, and I think it's I think it was the start of everything. So that's one of them. And also, Sevanni and Shaden having their little, how do you say, gay love affair in secret. Shh,
Oh
we
my
won't
god.
tell anybody. And I love, love, love Hyde and Rose. The time where they were at the carnival and he was on top of her and scooped her eyeball out and ate it. That was beautiful. But I think that was what, three or four I gave you. Can we
Yeah.
keep it at that?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. No, you know what? I like the part. I like having Savani run up in Sophia's domain and threatening her. I do like that because I like the vampire on mortal play, you know. And
Oh my
I think
goodness.
she needs to learn her fucking place very soon.
Oh no, she won't learn her fucking place. She's already got dealing with the freaking lichen right now, so she's not gonna learn her place. She
We
she's
shall see.
she's very opinionated and she will not let people boss her around.
Oh, I see that. I see that. Well, there are ways, Miss Thang. There are ways.
What are some plots you discussed and either never started or started but never got deep into you wish you could have been to continued or finished?
I want to say the name right. It would be, I think it's Psyche or Psyche. I always pronounce it Psyche, but I think he said it was Psyche. But him and Savani, definitely, because they didn't really get to make anything out of their relationship. I think that would have been a great little plot to discover down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my one big story. I love you, Mackie.
If the main canons you choose for your characters suddenly weren't allowed anymore, who would you choose for them? And you can pick five different characters.
Oh shit. Well, I've already changed Hyde since Sean Farris was taken to use for Wicked. So now I use Ian Somerhalder, so that's an obvious answer there. Um I'm not going to answer that for Savani because in my eyes there is no one else but Julian McMahon. Um and I have to stick to my gun on that. And if it came down to him not being Savani, then I wouldn't play Savani. Um, as far as my triplets are concerned, they've been changed also, and I believe I used Sean Farris for them, but now I use Jensen Ackles, which Allie loves, and every girl should love Ackles anyways. Fucking sexy.
Yes, because I got the sweet one.
um, but that's a really difficult question to ask. I mean, well, to answer actually. I don't really know because I'm so set in my characters that it would be difficult for me to change their face. Because in order for me to change their face, I would also have to change a piece of their personality to match that face. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I mean, I've done it three other times. So I prefer to keep it at that minimum right there.
yeah. Okay. Um, who intrigued you in the past, character wise, but you really did not get to work with for one reason or another?
Ooh. Um, you know, oh, that's really difficult right there. I mean, I've almost played with everybody I've been interested to play with. I mean, it would have to be someone's mean character, and I would have to want to fight with them in a thread because that's one of my biggest fantasies right there is to do an actual fight thread the proper fight thread with someone. And I think the only person who could live up to that standard would be Wicked. And as much as I've only played what a couple of replies with Wicked as Christian on CKU, so well, CK High actually. So I would say Wicked. We haven't really interacted much, and I would like to see where Wicked and Christian or Wicked and Sevanni would lead to, or Wicked and Hyde even. I think Wicked and Hyde would make a really dynamic duo
That would be
together,
actually, I would love, I would be reading those threads all the time.
right? Now that I'm thinking about it, Kitty, let's do a thread together. Wicked and Hyde. Yeah.
If you could take over writing for any one character who has no real affiliation with any of yours, who would it be?
Um. Ooh. I knew I should have read these questions before doing this interview a little bit more. Oh goodness, that's hard. I would say Sophia
Oh,
because I would brazen that girl up and I would tear her the fuck down. I would do it just to get a reaction out of you. I would do
oh my god. See,
it.
I'm
What are
very
you
protected over
doing?
Sophia because she's the
I,
one I immolated her after my daughter that passed away, so I'm very protected over her.
oh, I know. Well, see, that's another thing. I'd have to take extra care too, because some people take really good, pride over their characters. So I wouldn't really want to do anything that would, make you mad. But yeah, I would tear her up and then break her down.
Okay. When
So,
it comes to creating characters, what inspires you to create them in the first place, and why do you make them so evil?
um, well, my process is Google Images. Hello, and I'd like to see what celebrity speaks to me, and if I find that celebrity speaking to me, then I'll create the name. And then, depending on their look, are you good or evil? So if they're evil, then I'm gonna try and take it to an extreme on why they're evil, or the evil that they do is, really intense. And I want to shock the reader. I want to make the reader go, "What the fuck is wrong with this chick?" You know, that's my goal.
Oh my gosh, and that's fun
I
because
want to.
and we have a competition who does the better, like who shocks the worst out of people. That's
But
fun.
that's the fun part.
Okay, which one of your triplets is your favorite?
I love them all. I know you've been waiting for this question too. I have to say Abel because he does not care. He is fun. He's adventurous. He's a jokester. He just takes things to the extreme. Kane is a little bit too intense. He's too uptight. He's too fatherly to his brothers. And Hartley, he's a little oblivious to a lot of things. So him being the baby of the three, I have to go with the middle child and say Abel.
Oh, the
He's the
middle
clown
child
in me.
love.
Yeah. Well,
Who
he'd
is
be
your
more fun to be
second
with.
and third favorite character? One male, one female.
Ooh. Okay, female. Of mine would be Helena Kyle. I love Helena Kyle, my little virgin. You just can't beat a virgin vampire. I mean, unless your name's Jessica and you're on fucking True Blood, but Helena's way, she's very into her god. She's my favorite. My favorite male, it has to be mine or somebody else's.
Yours.
Mine, male, obviously Sevanni. He's. But second would be aside from Sevanni and Hyde. I'm gonna go with Kane, when I have a destructive moment, I'd like to release him out into the wild and let him do his damage when I can.
We like our men and their damage.
Yes, bring it on.
Out of all the plots, which is your most memorable and which is your most favorite?
Mm. My most memorable plot is kidnapping and turning my little phoenix because that bitch deserved it. You know what I mean? You just get this one freaking girl who's always instigating you, and you just want to put that bitch in her place. Well, she got what she deserved, and she got what she needed, and I think that turning her human and then turning her vampire through his blood was one of my favorite things to do because he really wanted her, and making her a part of him was something that would piss her off but make him happy, and that was fun as shit. So,
Oh my god.
but what was the other one? Memorable. Yeah, that
Well,
was for
it was
both
most
actually.
memorable and favorite. So you said that was your favorite and your most memorable.
Yeah, because I haven't gotten to the part where Sevanni gets cat next, and that will be one of my favorites. But my most memorable is turning Nixie, so that was good.
In Sorrow's Field Blues, if you could have killed off any one of your characters during the War of 1922, who would it have been?
Michelangelo Gotti. He was a piece of shit general who was demoted, and he deserved to get an axe to the face. He was an asshole ruler of his squad, and he deserved everything that was coming to him. He's a piece of shit. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Oh, you're very passionate about he's a piece of shit, so. Okay. Have you ever been
Go ahead.
romantically involved with another writer?
Not in person, but through, the online thing once. Um, but we won't get into that. She knows who she is, and we'll leave it at that. No, I'm not a lesbian, but there's comes a time and a point in every woman's life where she's a little curious and interested. That's all.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being bisexual.
Oh, not at all. I'm all for it, and I like, the form of a woman, but I'm just not putting my mouth on her box. Next question.
What game you do you regret ever playing in?
um, I don't. I'm gonna say Godric's Hollow. I I did not like playing on the Harry Potter forums because everybody's really clicky. They already had their groups. And the way that they allowed magic to be played was not really fair. So I'm gonna have to go with Godric's Hollow.
All right.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Top five favorite couples involving your characters.
Oh God. Sylvani and Emmy.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvani and Nixie. I don't know if you could call them a couple now, but I do like the aspect of Hyde and Allie, considering their past. Um, I also like um and I can't lie, and I know this is kind of shocking. I do like the homosexual relationship between Shaden and Savani. And I know that a lot of my favorite couples involve Savani, but what can I say about my man whore? He loves his people. But aside from him, um, relationships. I wanna bring it back to CK and talk about Shaden and Annabella because there was a little bit of magic and chemistry between them before he turned her and killed her. And I really enjoyed that special time with Shaden, writing with him, and it was really nice.
Well, that's awesome.
So yeah, we'll leave it at that.
If you if you was to get a show or movie, top three actors would you need to play which top three characters?
um, Obviously Julian McMahon for Sevanni Black. Um, they have to be my characters.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it
Okay.
said.
We'll go with no, that's fine. We'll go with Ian Somerhalder for Hyde. Um, I don't think I'd want to change Hyde's face back to um, Jason Statham. I think he's a little bit too old for the role, so we'll stick with Ian. And I would love to get Natalie Dormer as Helena Kyle. Um, she's my favorite baby girl. So,
Awesome. Part
mm,
one question: why do you think you can play male characters so well? Part two: are you more male in real life, or you just know how a male should act for you?
um, I love playing male characters because I'm not a man. I like the prospect of standing up while peeing. So I'd like to incorporate that. Um, so my dad's calling me, but he's being an asshole. I'm not gonna answer him. You see that? That's the boy in me. I like playing evil characters, really well, and I think that being a man makes that a lot easier than playing a woman because most of my girls are really prissy, feminine, and I like. I'm not a boy in real life. I do boy things sometimes, but I like to be able to play the boy because I'm not a boy, and I think that gets most of my active aggression out a lot more easier than playing girls. With girls, I can explore my feminine side. With boys, I can be an asshole, a dick, etc. So, did I answer that question properly?
Yes, you answered it perfectly.
Okay.
If you could only have one job for writing, would it be book writing or writing, and why?
Script, definitely. Um, Excuse me. TV and movies, you make a lot more money than in books. I mean, throughout history, it's always been, about more bankroll. So, um, I'd rather script than anything. As much as I love my books, Kindle killed the bookstore and Kindle killed the library.
Hey,
So right
I
now,
still
all we
love
have
my
left.
books. I love
I
my
love them
books.
too. Don't get me wrong, but now everybody's so set in their ways, and you've got this new modern technology that everything's internet, TV, movie theater. So I'd like to give my visual instead of letting the reader develop their own imagination. Because again, it's all about that wow shock factor. I want to scare the shit out of you. I want you to drop your jaw and say, "What the hell is this person thinking? Who made this?"
Oh my
You know.
god.
Sorry, book lovers.
Favorite part about Crimson War do you love?
Oh, I love the storyline behind the whole thing. To just jump into this world after the war and rebuild and having that image in your head that I want to say post-apocalyptic kind of city or state that the world is in. I like the fact that Sevanni thinks he can come in and rebuild what he wants at his leisure, you know? So
Yeah, I like
that's
that
my
part too.
favorite part. Yeah, because I'm thinking City of Ruin, everything's messed up, and yeah,
Yeah,
let's
it's
do
supposed to
this,
be
baby.
ruined, like the inner part of the cities are supposed to have buildings and stuff like that, but the outskirts are more like damage from the war and everything like that. Like it's built
Right,
in the images of the wealthy people, so if they want to take care of it, they take care of it. If they don't, they don't. Like
right. Ah,
I'm sure Wicked has Las Vegas taking care of every one little bit of it.
until his ass gets bombed, because I'm telling you, if he's not on Savani's side, we're dropping bombs, and I mean napalm. Yeah,
Oh
we're
my
coming for
goodness.
you, Wicked. We're
Oh
coming.
wow. What do you miss about Crimson Kiss?
The late night chat room banter. Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. And we never got any posting done when we did that. And we'd be up till 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then everybody's like, "Wow, it's this late." And our trivia time. We had a lot of fun time. A lot of fun times.
All right. If you could do a short show series on YouTube about either CW or CKH or TF plotline, would you do it?
Oh, you bet your ass I would. I would do it right now if I could. I need a cast. Yeah, I would do all of them.
Oh,
I would
awesome.
do every single freaking one.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and
gosh.
let the
I would
people
watch
decide
CKH like if it was from some teeny bop show.
you see? But I would let the people decide whether or not they want to see more, whatever, you know. So,
All right. Bearing Chelsea and Serena, who were your top three writers to work with on CK? Sorry, I said that word. Barring Chelsea. So you can't pick them too.
um, so no Allie and no Nixie. Okay. Um, again, Emmy. Um, I really liked playing with Aubrey. I won't lie, we had a good fucking time, and whatever happened between us kind of ruined it, but we had a really great time playing with each other, and I miss that. Um, Another person, I mean, yeah, Emmy, Aubrey, and I'm gonna say Ixie. I haven't played with Ixie in so long, so you know, I've got to bring her back. I need you.
Characters on CK you wish you could have had a storyline with that either something small happened and never continued or you never had one with.
Oh, my Darian. I miss my Darian so much. I can't say which Darian I miss, but um I really miss Sevy and Darian together. I want that duo back as soon as possible. Hint, hint, hint. Bring my Darian back, please.
If you could bring back any one person to write with who you no longer see writing anywhere, who would it be? Has to be someone who you know could write, but isn't so an answer like Nixie with her on again and off again, access invalid. She tries to write impossible. So I guess as someone who would be on a good amount of time is the thing with the
I'm trying to
question.
guess whether or not that's Sean's question. I'm gonna say Alicia. I miss writing with her. I mean, it's been a while since we've done, an Evie and Jonah thing. So, but as far as vampire, werewolf, mortal roleplay goes, um, I've got to say Alicia. It's been a long time. I'd like her to come back. Hint, hint, hint.
I know. Hint, hint, hint. Come back, come back. What are some of the storylines you did that impacted your characters, which you wish in hindsight you had never done so, and why?
um, I want to pronounce her name right. I think it's Light, Lit. I don't know how to pronounce it. Litte. Anyway, I think that's one of Allie's characters. Um, I I really wish I hadn't been the one to start the war between vampires and werewolves. That was my that was my mistake. Um, aside from that, it would have to be the whole sexual aggression method between Sevanni and what was that, Allie? Yeah, Sevanni and Allie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the most heartbreaking thing that I've ever had to do, and I wish I hadn't have did that. So
Oh man.
yeah.
Any stories you wish you could have hopped into but couldn't for some reason?
Can you repeat that?
Any stories you wish you could have hopped into but couldn't for some reason?
Um. Ooh. There's a lot of you guys that post on the forum, and I can't name any one plot, but there's been many plots where I wanted to bring a character in and just really slap the shit out of one of your characters. You know what I mean? Like, like I see. I mean, if something happened to say Nixie and she was in trouble in another thread, and it was specifically close to those two people, I want to bring my Sevy in and just beat the shit out of that other character just to protect my girl, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh my god. That's funny.
yeah.
Okay, this one's hard because I don't know if I'm saying this word right. Carterid or
Oh,
femoral?
corduroy or femoral?
Cart.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
femoral. Yeah. Kind of sexy, right?
I'm guessing that's where you drink the blood from, or
No, I think Alicia's question behind that was literally where did Savani wish Audrina to cut him? So, but I think for Sevi, it's gonna be femoral, and not his femoral, but your femoral, Audrina, you bitch. Sorry, I'm really a nice person.
okay. All right. Will Rose and Hyde ever successfully reunite and be twistfully happy?
I hope so. I love where they are at now, where they're just now reconnecting as Hyde breaks away from the coven and under Savani's hold. I can explore Hyde being himself now and what he's truly like, and his love for his fledglings are so beyond. I mean, I can't even come up with a word for it. And to have hurt Allie in the past, and that was hard for him because he had to contain the secret that he made her. So, it's up to Allie now. And if she wants that relationship with Hyde, I'm more than willing and ready to give it to her.
All right. What made you start writing in the first place?
Didn't we go through that, right? Yeah, we did that question, no?
Oh yeah, I think someone asked it
Yeah.
again.
Shame on you.
Those pesky
Shame
little
on you,
people.
questioners.
What thread on OGCK was your favorite to read, and which was your favorite to partake in?
Ooh. My favorite to read. Um. Ooh. I'm gonna say between Tilly and Ran because that really hyped me up to want to have Evan kick his ass. Uh, um, I mean, but the best part for me to partake in, uh, I want to say the murder. The murder was my favorite. Um, and I know it shouldn't be, but it was the process of trying to figure out why he did it, who did it, what he was doing, and even though we didn't get to finish the entire thing, and get down to that final trial conclusion, that was one of my favorites to partake because I wanted a little bit of interactive fun with everybody, so I made it a little side game as well. And I didn't want people to be left out, so I like that very much.
All right. What is your top five plot lines slash threads on CW right now?
Mm. Anubis and Helena. I can't wait to see where this goes. And it's funny because she uses Jake Gyllenhaal as Anubis, and I use Jake Gyllenhaal as Evan. So it's a little interesting to see how people play different face claims. I like that. Um, I also enjoy the Sevanni and Sophia thread. Even though I'm involved with it, I like coming through her window as an intruder and trying to scare the shit out of someone who shows no fear. So, and then there's the kidnapping and escape of Miss Katra. I hope I'm saying that right. I would just call it cat, kitty cat. Um, I do like that part. I like that Jonathan is trying to come up into his own pack. And I think that gaining an ally out of Cat is something that it will be interesting to see whether or not she follows through with it. Um, um, and kidnapping the children. Kidnapping the children was one of my favorite parts because um it hurt Cat. And as much as I hate to admit this, Sevanni is in love with her. And I think the best way to try and break her down was to take everything away from her. And by taking her children, that was something that he figured would be really, strong against her. Um, but
One
let's
more.
see. um, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Yeah, okay. Hyde and Alley havings in the hotel. You can't beat that. Everybody, everybody waited to see that. And it was just son of a bitch. It was so good. I've been waiting for that since original CK. And to have it happen on CW in a different, time in a different era is really remarkable between them because you would never expect it, especially if you've read their past histories. So yeah, okay.
If you had the power to bring back CK, would you?
Yes, yes, I would, and I would not bring back the old form. I would move CK to JC Inc. and I would create it to wear the same, but I would also make it a little bit more lovely to look at. I mean, you guys know how I like to prissy up the forums and make it look nice for everybody to come back and have fun with. So yeah, and Fang
I love it how you do. I love how you do the skins.
oh, thank you. I worked so hard for those things. But I mean, Fang Ellie, if you can hear me, let's recreate CK. And if you don't want to do it, let me do it because I will do it. I will do it tonight. So, yeah.
Which, which characters that weren't your own of the OG Crimson Kiss squad were your
That wasn't
favorites?
my own.
Like, wasn't yours?
Ooh, squad members. My favorite squad members. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay, I'm just gonna try and run over a few. Um, Emmy, Nixie, Shaden, and I'm gonna go with one of Ellie's characters. She used the that guy who played Batman before Ben Affleck.
Christian Bale?
Yes, I forgot the character's name, but I like that Ellie played him such an asshole. It was good to play with. He was such an asshole. Yeah. That,
All right.
sorry.
If you had to lay any of your characters to rest for good, who would it be, why, them, and how would you do it?
um. Well, I think I would. I would take down. Um. I would take down. Fuck. I'm trying to think of her name. Um. It's the female pack leader. That Jonathan's actually currently trying to take over now. Um. And I think.
No, no, your
Yeah.
characters. If you wanted to kill
Yeah.
them
She's
off.
one of my characters.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
use Madonna for her face. Lacey Favreau.
I
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, I left her out.
And how would you
Well, I
do?
left her out of the original story because I figured I'd have Jonathan take over anyway, and I didn't want to create a character that would just die off. So that's why I started making Jonathan start to build up his pack so he could, you know, covertly take over. Um, but I would kill her with Jonathan's bare hands. Maybe take the breath away from her so he could watch her life slip away from her eyes. I think that's something that's really intense. I'm sorry.
That's funny
Soul
though.
lifter.
If you had to place all your characters in a different universe, genre of RP, I'm meaning, where would you place them?
Um, you know what? And I would take all my characters. I would bring them to Unspeakable Acts, and I would put them in Comics Unleashed because I think it would be really interesting to see whether or not they could make it as heroes and villains. Well, and or villains.
Oh my gosh, Sevanni as a villain.
I mean, I'm not gonna place Julian McMahon as Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, whatever the fuck his name is. Since he's already done it in Fantastic Four, but I would definitely come up with something creative to make shit hit the fan. So, but yeah, I would definitely put them in Comics Unleashed. So,
All
what's
right.
that guy's name that created Marvel Universe? Stan Lee.
Stan
Stanley.
Lee.
Yeah, eat
Stan
that,
Lee.
Stanley.
God, love you. If you if you had to choose only one character to write as for the rest of the time you write, meaning for always, which which would it be if you could not pick Sevanni? I guess the only person you could write, the only character you could, one character.
That's got to be Hyde. He's second in line to Sevanni, so and a little bit more appalling, in his ways. So it would be Hyde.
Awesome. CF. When the war hit, was the General Harris, what was General Harris' last words?
Oh, wasn't it something like, oh shit, this has got to be a Julie question or an Aiden question. Um, wouldn't it be like something like "Damn you heathens" or something like that? I think it's "Damn you heathens." Yeah, right before he gurgles on his own blood. I thought that was kind of nice. Yeah, kind of difficult to talk with a
Okay,
knife in your
now.
throat, but hey, damn you heathens.
Okay, charm question. Who was your most memorable kill and how did it happen?
Oh, that would have to be Cindet and her lover. I don't even. Oh, Hidden Evil. That's his name. Hidden Evil was the screen that he used. I forgot the name of his character, but when she took that chopstick, it was a lovers' fight. They were in a battle zone practicing for war, and she didn't want to do it. She loved him so much, and I think he was testing her, but she took a chopstick and slammed it hard into his ear that it came out the other end. And I felt so bad after that. And literally, I think it was a test because soon after that thread, we decided to call it quits and they broke up. So, yeah, chopstick through the ear. And I don't want to say that I stole it from anybody, but if you think about stick through the ear, you'll also, if you're a horror buff fan, you'll also remember that in Nightmare on Elm Street, he put a big ass Q-tip in one of the deaf guy's ear, and pulled out his eardrum. So, but yeah, I think a chopstick through the ear coming out the other side is a little bit fun too. We'll call it that. Sorry.
Okay. Charmed. Another charm question. Who was the person you wanted to destroy the most and why?
Oh, Eris, definitely Eris. He was the king of demons, and he was like the bad source on Charmed, and a little bit worse. And I want to say he's the Negan of the Charmed world. So he was the one that I wanted to take down the most. Yeah. I mean, you don't watch The Walking Dead, so I mean, might not be a good context for you to describe to you, but Negan's
Oh,
the big bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, CKH. You play a lot of boys. Who is your favorite and why?
Yeah, it was Evan at first. He's my and he's a twin. But I'm gonna say it. And I'm gonna pick my Jonah. I love my Jonah. And I have to thank Alicia for that because she had nobody to really mess with her character, and mentioning another boy's name in a thread, I just figured, hey, why not create this character? So I came up with Jonah, and he just unleashed the world of hell upon, and the whole town. He just made everything come together. So I think that if I hadn't made Jonah, there might not have been a full blown Breakfast Club. um, or more sex and drugs and hip hop music than it serves, but he brings all the action to school grounds. That can be said.
Oh yeah, the party's going crazy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nobody misses a Parsons party.
What is you? What is your top three characters' greatest regrets and greatest accomplishments? So top three for each.
Mm. Well, let's start with Sevi. His top three accomplishments would be taking over the coven, of the BNC, um, creating BioLite is a great accomplishment because that gives us all as writers the opportunity to come up with new new ways to either help or mess up our characters. And as we still work with BioLite, um, we can develop new plot lines as well. So that's a good accomplishment there. Um, I want to say, oh, I want to say Hyde making peace with Allie. I think that took a lot of courage between the two to succumb to what they were meant to be. Um, in third, it would have to be Hartley and his escape from the pack. And even though his brothers don't know that he knows where his mother is, and he's not telling them, getting away from the pack was one of the most dangerous things he's ever done in his life. And I think it put a little bit more. It made his ball sack a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? Gave him more courage.
Well, he's gonna need it with Raven's multi
Oh,
personality.
definitely. She's gonna keep him on his toes. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, three greatest regrets.
Regrets. The assault in the elevator against Miss Alley Cat. Um, is one of my biggest regrets. Um, Second would have to be killing Annabelle. Letting Shaden kill her off on CK was a bit premature, but it was a plot that needed to happen. Um, so I think Sevanni wanted that extra head on his wall. So it's kind of it's kind of a win lose situation there, but losing her was really hard for me. Um, the third one, listening, having Savani. Well, I have to bring up Savani again, and I'm sorry, but having Savani succumb to a woman and her demands, when it came to Aubrey and Emmy, Savani really loved Aubrey and would have given her the world, but when it came to Emmy, there was more of a connection. There was more of a give and take, and that letting Emmy go and choosing her over Aubrey was something that maybe Savani should have done. You know what I mean? Because him and Aubrey are no
Hmm.
longer together. And I think if Savani and Emmy had actually made it and connected at that time, they'd still be together. So that was a really big misfortune on both of our parts. So, but as far as another character, I couldn't say, not at this time. Well, we'll come back for a part two.
Who would your dream team of characters, yours and others, consist of and why?
Oh, this is really easy, and this would be the power group that would top a group of current prized horror characters, and that's gonna be Wicked, Savani, Katra, Stewart, and Nixie. I think those five people right there would bring the house down. And if they were real in real life, this whole world would crumble. beneath all of them.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
think.
I'd be like,
Now,
okay,
now, can you imagine
you should
taking
probably.
all those five characters and having them be a posse in CKH?
Oh my
That would be
gosh.
hardcore.
Considering how freaking Stewart's already beating the crap out of someone in some warehouse right now in CKH.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Um, oh
That's
yeah.
my power team right there.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, all of them.
of all the people you worked with, who are memorable in some way, if you could take one character from each person as your own, which of their characters do you choose and why?
Um, okay, this should be fairly easy. Um, well, I mean, it's not really easy. Can we come back to it? No. um, that's a difficult question. No, seriously, can we come back to it?
No.
Okay, repeat the question.
Of all the people you worked with who are memorable in some way, if you could take one character from each person as your own, which of their characters do you choose and
Hey, it's
why?
gotta be the same five people. From you, I would. Well, I wouldn't take Stuart because he's a little bit difficult to manage, and I'm not that hardcore. So I'm gonna say Contessa. When it comes to Allie, it's
I love Contessa.
yes, Tessa. Contessa. Cat. Um, yeah, Cat or Allie, it depends. But I gotta choose Cat. Um, ooh, yeah, Phoenix definitely. Um, and you know what? Uh, Key is old, old vampire character. Um, it's gotta be Ran. He was a good character in the Vampire Mortal World, so that's gotta be, in there too. Um, I will say Audrina. She was a major bitch. um, it's it's a difficult question. It's a difficult question. I don't.
If you can't think of
I
anyone,
mean,
it's
no,
okay.
that's fine. I mean,
I think your brain
yeah,
is
we can.
exploding.
No, we can move on. It's. I mean, it would be the same five people. I'd add a couple of extra. You know what I mean? But those will always be my top five favorite take homes.
Hmm. If all your characters suddenly wound up being of the opposite gender, which ones would you struggle to keep around?
Helena. I don't think I would know what to do if I had to turn her into a boy. Considering she's a godly, a God fearing virgin. Um, I don't think she would know what to do with a penis. Uh, uh, and I don't think I would turn Sevanni into a female. And if I did, it would just it would just be Cat. So I mean, if you think of Cat with a dick, you get Sevanni. But yeah. Mm. Other than that, I can't turn Hyde into a girl, and I can't turn Marcus into a girl because those are my two enforcers. But turning them into an opposite sex is not something that I think I would partake in. So we'll have to bypass that question just a little bit. Sorry,
Okay.
guys.
If you got asked to write a book slash TV show based on around Sev and all your characters, which characters outside of your own would you pick to be included in the show slash book, and would you follow a plot line you've already played out on a board, or would you go with something completely new?
Well, let's put it this way. I would do both the plot lines that we've done in the past just because we've created so many great wonderful stories. But I'd also create new ones to continue on the show or to stick in there to to fill in the gaps when it comes to being a little bit too much TV, which is why I'd love to go to Netflix. Um, yeah, I'd have to add in a few things to change it for television, but um, I would take all of my girls.
And which
I have to
characters?
take all of my girls with me. I have to take you. I have to take Alicia. I have to take everybody with me because those are y'all's characters, and I could not do it without any of you guys. If I needed Kat, if I needed Contessa, if I needed Sophia, or Phoenix or anybody, I want you guys there to write for them because those are your characters. And I wouldn't want anybody to write Sevanni for me. So you girls are coming with me. You're stuck
Yeah.
with me.
Now, finally, we have got to the Sevanni O Black Pacific
Oh God.
questions. Now, uh, this one is kind of a bittersweet one for me. How does Sevanni feel about Contessa? And part two of this question is she just a plaything to him, or if circumstances were different somehow, would it be that he does love her and adore her?
Well, at first it was cat playing with the mouse. So in the beginning, it was a little fun and I like
No, I'm talking about
yeah,
Contessa.
but like his feelings towards her, it was like a
Yeah.
lead on. Like he thinks that she's loyal to me, she loves me, so I can treat her and play with her any way I want. But as time went on, he got to see that she was really devoted to him in a way that not many of other of his women were. So his feelings developed a little bit more intensely for her. And I think now that even before the she got pregnant, um, I think that he developed a love for her that he didn't expect. And I think that love could continue as long as she shows her love and devotion towards him. I think that he'll be the same way with her. Now, doesn't that make your
Oh,
heart
thank you
melt?
so much.
Are you worried no longer?
Yes. No, I'm not worried no longer. Okay. If you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be when it comes to Savani?
Um, I'm gonna say having I mean, is this CW specific or just like
Anything related to
okay?
Savani?
That's gonna have to be taking down his brother for being a werewolf. And if you've not caught up, Savani's brother Ezra is a werewolf. He was turned, but his blood comes from a rare line of werewolf breed. So, which is why he's able to be aged so slowly. But killing him is definitely one of the hardest things that he's ever had to do. And because it was so hard, I brought him back to life on a different form. And I'd like to let other people get to see the relationship between them before he has to turn around and kill his brother again. So we shall relive the hard experience one more time.
Wow. I think that's just like the bitchest move you've ever done. Oh my god.
Hey, he hates the wear mutts. He hates them,
That is
even if it's
true.
his brother.
Will you ever kill off Savani?
Yes, yes, I will. But you will have to wait for the Netflix series in order to find out which season he dies in. Because we could make it to season 24, and he may still be around. You never know.
Why won't you reveal how old Sevanni really
Because it's none of
is?
your fucking business. No,
Well,
no.
technically, he has to be. He has on CW. He has to be under 12,000.
Well, see,
Technically.
that was the problem with creating Savani. I didn't want his age to be known. I wanted it to be a mystery because Savani himself is a mystery, much like most of his past, which is why I don't like to write his bio out. Um, but he was made very early in life, and he's been around since the Roman times. When they had the God Wars. So on CW, it's a little bit harder to differentiate the times. Um, but if that's the oldest he could be, it would probably be that old. But in general, he's pretty freaking old. So I mean, if you're around BC or AD, then you've met Savani. That's how old he is. So
Well, someone started a rumor that Savani raped someone. Is that true? And who was it? And did he get caught? If it is true.
he did not get caught. Yes, he did. Um, if you've been following the plot line since CK, then Savani did rape Ali in an elevator. It was Ali. I hope I'm. Cat would never allow that shit, but um, that was really hard for me to partake in. Yeah, he did do it. He was not himself. This is not something that Savani does. He was taken over by something else. It was secondary id. So we cannot really place blame fully on him, just a portion of him, because he's not a rapist. He needs not to rape. He's getting the pussy. So
Yeah. Not everyone can be Stuart and crazy.
exactly. Yes.
Right. Bouncing off of Julia's question, speaking of the rape, what was the hardest part of that for you to do, if anything?
Putting The hardest part was wondering whether or not I was going to get banned or discharged from the forum by the forum owners. And by owners, I don't mean Ellie or Fang, I mean boards itself. Um, that was one of my biggest fears. The hardest part was actually writing it. Um, as a person who could partake in consensual playtime, is different than outright doing a rape, an illegal, a disturbing, violent act against such an innocent character. And if anybody who knows Allie, she's so sweet, she's lovable, but she's also a bitch when she has to be. So to really manipulate her in such a way, to even spot it, it was really hard for me to put into action. So yeah, just fucking.
All right. Another rumor was started that Savani was gay. I have only been on 3 forums with you totally, which I don't know who's saying this, and I haven't seen any of these rumors. Is it
I
true?
think that's a Julie question. I mean, obviously, yeah. um, I mean, you know, what the hell?
He likes to play the field.
Yeah, what the hell? Who doesn't? No, I'm just kidding. Um, either way you put it, it was a real shitty situation. Whether you're reading it, writing it, or replying to it, it's just he's not gay. Okay, he had an affair with Shaden. It was a few times. They had a sexual attraction. Um, but he's not gay.
Tell him not to be ashamed.
No, there's no shame in the game at all. I don't mind having him partake in a few homosexual activities with gentlemen. If if Courtney hadn't took away Darian, I'm pretty sure he would have had a little situation there. If she was willing to go that distance. Um, which there was an attraction between the two. So what do you want? You say vampires to me don't look at
Okay.
sexuality. They don't look at man woman. They just see, you know what I mean? It's there.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Oh, don't worry. Stuart's pansexual. He'll
And
try
that
anything.
motherfucker will fuck a Twinkie. A Twinkie with a lot of cream filling. No.
All right. This one's. I can tell you right now. This one's my question. Why does Sevanni hate blondes, and when they show a little backbone, he is intrigued?
Uh, I'm gonna say this, and I want everybody to finally understand why he hates blondes. His mother is a blonde. And I don't think he likes to compare women to his mother, but for some reason it just irritates the shit out of him to see a blonde or to be with one. And even though Phoenix is a blonde, she'll probably be one of the, aside from Xandra, probably be one of the only blondes that he will succumb to or be with in his lifetime. So, um,
And the second part of the question is when they show a little backbone, he's
he loves
intrigued.
women with attitude fights. I mean, if you've watched him and Phoenix go at it over the years, and Cat too. More you go against Savani and repel him, the more he's gonna want you, and the more he's gonna want to take that ass.
Oh my god.
You know it.
I am so glad that Sabani's only going to have Nixie and Ixie because Sophia's staying far
Hey,
away
you
from.
never know. I mean, he kidnapped someone before and dyed their hair from blonde to brunette. So don't think just because she's blonde, she'll get away from him. Because I guarantee you, he will come up with a way to fix that. So,
Oh my gosh. If Savani was real, would you really leave everything behind and
you
be
bet
with
your
him?
ass. You bet your ass I would. I love that man. He's not even real. I came up with the perfect man. I can't even be with him. How sad is that? But then you know too, because you have Stuart. So
Yes. Our tragic losses of our perfect
uh,
men.
I wish magic was real, because then I would like just summon him, make him appear. Take me away.
Would you want to be set? What would you want? Would you want to be Sev's downfall or fall before Sev if he was real? I don't understand that
I
question.
kind of get it. I would rather fall before Sev than be his downfall. Um, if it happened the way that I want it, I'd rather him turn me and whatnot than to have him just. I mean, if he's gonna fall hard, and he's gonna fall for a good reason, because I said so, not because of my own actions. So I don't know. I mean, it's a twisted little question, but I would rather fall before Sev than have him fall by my hands. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense. If you did have to finish your writing career as Savani Black, how would you write him off?
Um, that question I'm not gonna answer because That has yet to happen. And the main reason is I could change my mind at any time. You know, that's the best thing about being a writer is we have the option to change what we want written. And I also want you guys to watch the show. I don't want you to say, well, I know how he's going to fucking die, so why am I going to watch the show just to lose my favorite, one of my favorite characters? So I'm not going to answer that question. You'll have to wait. And if you want to see it happen, then you need to go on Netflix Facebook wall and tell them to contact us and get this out there because we want to entertain you people. So, yeah. I'm not.
Yes, because our show would be freaking
Hell yeah.
sick.
Like, damn the movie. Let's make the show. Let's last longer than any other show and scare the shit out of you people.
If someone from CW were to be the one to kill him, who would you choose to do so and why
Now,
then?
I'm not going to say it is going to happen, but if it was a possibility, um, it's got to be Phoenix. It has to be. She's been with him the longest. She is his first, you know? So it would have to be her. And it would have to be beautiful. And it would have to be for a really good fucking reason. So,
Because you would kill
oh
her if he
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah. If you listen, Chelsea, if you do this and you do not kill him and he survives, you are a dead bitch because he's coming for you. So you better do it right the first time. But I think if anybody was to do it, he would allow her to do that, especially if there was no other option.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying that's how he's gonna end. So nice
Yeah.
try.
Favorite Crimson Kiss writer, character, couple, and plot line.
All right, let's take this piece by.
Not that did not carry over to CW.
Okay, so the first one was boy and girl
Writer,
writer,
character, couple, and
writer
plot line.
character couple and plot line. Um,
That didn't carry over.
Aubrey, Ariel, of course. I think Aubrey would have made, excuse me, a really good addition to CW, especially as an Ice Queen. Um, favorite couple, I'm gonna have to say James and Lit, Litte. Yeah, I gotta pronounce these a little bit better. It's like going to Syria and trying to meet Ahmed, you know. I'm just kidding. Um, um,
Plot
what
line.
else? Plot line. That didn't. The original storyline between Phoenix and Sevanni that did not roll over. I don't believe so. I would have loved to have seen that, and I would have loved to have seen an active serum be made, used once or twice, and then maybe destroyed. Even though we did use the serum once, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more come from that, which we might see in the future. You never know. But we won't reveal any spoilers as of yet.
How much do you love, miss, cherish, want back your favorite Exandria?
Very much, very much. And you know what? We've been trying to get you to come back for a long time, Miss Ixie. But now that you are coming back, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I miss Ixie very much, and I think Sevi does too. And she was very fun and interesting to interact with. Yeah, sultry blonde fatem, so it was all good.
If somehow your creation were to come to life with all the faults and terrible tendencies, how would you control Sevanni to save the world from essentially what is essentially yourself?
Um, we explore this on Unspeakable Acts and Tomorrow Fades. Where the writer gets to jump into the story. And if I had to, I would inform Savani, hey, I made you. I can break you. So you need to choose your actions more wisely. And I would just inform him of the consequences. And if he didn't give a damn about the consequences, then I in turn would fall in line because Savani is awesome and I would follow him to the end of the world if I could, you know. I saw those eyebrows raised. I would. I love that man.
I know it's just because you know the whole thing between me and Stuart is like, oh my
Yeah.
god. So knowing you and Savani is just like,
I
oh
mean, I
gosh.
couldn't take him out, but if he's going to be the new world leader, then I'm definitely going to try and take second in command. If Nixie doesn't kill me first, you know what I mean? But, as the writer who created the plot line and Savani, then, bitch better fall in line too. Or else we all die. So we have to get along.
Okay. Why does Savani feel the need to be polynam- polyamorous? And is there a particular reason why it usually is three that he strives for?
Okay, I remember seeing this question, and um the whole plot line behind that is there is an I don't want to say an omen, but there's a prophecy. And I can't say what the prophecy is at the moment because we're still working on that. But he does require a wife from each species, and the way that each species is created and brought into his circle is very key and very important to why he has all these women. So, you've got the vampire, you've got the weremutt, you've got the witch, you've got the human, and they all, in the end, have to share blood from him. Not share it with each other,
Oh,
but
and then Nixie's the
right.
pureblood
But
vampire.
she still has to be infected with his blood. So, like, if I kept the plot on CK the same way, her and I, she was werewolf, and then she was turned human, and then turned vampire through his blood. Now that would have worked out perfectly because she's vampire with his blood, So, and the serum wipes away the werewolf gene anyway. So, he has to find a wolf now to be, changed over, even if she hadn't. So since she's pure blood, there has to be a wolf turned human, turned with his blood, or it's not going to work. So with each role play game, we have to be really careful about what we change up and how we change it up because it really affects the rest of the game, you know.
And are you planning on like because you need the witch, but are you going to change the witch into human to be changed into a vampire
Well, I
or?
don't think that I want everyone to be vamp once it starts. I'd like to keep everyone the same species that they are. Just because, like I said, you have to change up the story to match the game. And in this game, on CW, the serum really is not active right now. And I know we talked about, bringing in an alt universe section, using that to play out the serum use. I think to avoid that altogether, then keeping the species as they are and just doing a bloodletting ceremony at the time would be a little bit more of a wiser choice. So as long as he's got that vampire, that werewolf, that human, that witch, then I think that's where it should end. And for them to all take in a little bit of his blood, I think that would seal the deal, though the specifics are still under works. So you can't really, you know, you can't put that in concrete just yet. It can always change.
Yeah. Okay. Admit it. Sevanni enjoyed the fuck out of making Nixie's prideful ass scream while he was beating her on CK after the whole running away incident. Also, did he take any pleasure in informing her directly after he forced her to become a vampire on CK that Taurus had indeed been released and that he chose on his own to seek her out?
Okay. First of all, I just want to say how adorable you sound cussing. I love it. Secondly, Steph always enjoyed beating the shit out of Phoenix. Always. I mean, it hurt him a little bit because he secretly loved her, and but he loves it, and he loved inflicting pain onto her. It's the same situation with Kat. Um, he likes her. She's very adamant. She's very pushing Sevanni away, always fighting him at every turn. Phoenix was about the same as that. Didn't want anything to do with Sevanni. Always flipped him off, yelling. She was very disrespectful. And that will always push Sevanni to want that prey more. And beating her with a metal whip was painful for both of them. I mean, not as much for him as it was for her, but he likes torture. He likes being a sadist towards other people, especially when you do underhanded things to and against him. So if you want to be an asshole or a cunt, then you're gonna get what you deserved. I can promise you that. So the whole Tara storyline was insane on its own. So if you weren't there to read it, and a lot of their past history is missing. So I don't know. I don't know how else I can answer it. Yeah.
Well, here's another question which I am gritting my teeth and saying. What exactly would be the repercussion if Nixie were to accidentally set fire to Contessa after, of course, she pushed Sevanni's baby out? Nixie would never harm a child of Sevanni's.
Oh, I think you've been dreading this question for quite a while. Um, you know what? And I'm gonna take that as a threat. So just be on your toes, okay? There's no there's no real answer to this. He's gonna be furious and pissed off, and he would know that it was not an accident. Nixie does not do accidents. She does it with great intent, I believe. And if I'm speaking wrong about this, then let me know now. But there's no accidents when it comes to Nixie. So for her to do something like that to Contessa would be a big crime against Sevanni, knowing that that's the mother of his children. That's a I want to say prospect, but she's to be with him, you know, and that would just hurt him. And for her to hurt him, it would just be hurting herself. So the repercussions would be pretty dire, especially if there was a lot of damage to Contessa. You know, that's like letting a stranger come into the coven house, to be with him, and letting that new member do something to Phoenix. You know what I mean? She wouldn't like that in return, so why should she inflict pain on the mother of his children? Now, if you're going to do something like that, then I suggest you completely take her out. Because if not, and she's going to come after you. And he's going to allow Contessa to do so. Because she has the right to her vengeance. Just like anybody. So, that's fair game. Admin Sophia.
Yeah. If Contessa was normal right now, she'd be content, but she doesn't know what's going on because she's still freaking pregnant.
She's going crazy.
I still think that Rose would make a wonderful addition to Sevanni's women. What does Sevanni think of this?
Well, Sevi, what do you think about that? No, stop questioning him. I don't think I've thought about Rose joining in since the middle of CK after the whole Hyde incident between her and Allie and him. So she would make a good addition. Um, but I don't know if there's a romance between them or that spark. There would have to be something about her that drew him to her because Sevanni just does not hook up with just anybody. There's always something special about each and every one of his women, whether it be their eye color or their color of their hair or their evilness. It could be anything. You know what I mean? It could be a simple tramp stamp. You know what I mean? And but there's always that one special thing that draws him to her, to his women. Rose would have to have that special something or something that attracts him to her to want him to have her join. So that's as best as I can answer that question. But I'm not opposed to it. So, feel free to jump in, Michaela, and have at it. We'll see if
All
she
right.
has the
Do
balls to
you
do it.
think that do you, do you think Savani would have been as intrigued with CK Nixie in the beginning if she would have been a vampire instead of Lycan, or do you think that the thought of there being something he absolutely can't have intrigues him more than anything
I'm gonna
else?
take the second part of that question. Um, if if she was a vampire, there would be probably less drama between them, and the banter between Steffi and Nixie was what drew him to her, and her being a blonde is a big factor also. Um, so no, I don't think if she was a vampire they'd be close. I think they would be friendly, maybe a sexual encounter here and there, but absolutely not a circle at all. The werewolf thing worked out a lot better because there was more story. There's more. There's more of an in-depth outlook on their whole relationship because she was a werewolf. So yeah,
All right. Of the girls Sev has chosen over all the years, Ixie included, so even the outlying few, why did he choose each and what about them left him always needing more, and is that feeling just inside of him to never be satisfied?
Seven will never be satisfied. I think as long as he roams the earth, he will always want more, whether it's power, um, wealth, it could be women, men, anything. He is all consuming. So no, I don't think he will ever stop. And I don't care what it's for or what it's about. I think power will only try to beget power. And because he is power in my mind, he will always try to seek more. It's like it's like climbing Everest, looking for a bigger mountain. That's him. He's a seeker.
Mm-hmm.
So no, he will never be satisfied. And he's even with his wives, his future wives, his women. Even you and I, we've plotted, and he has the witch now, in his life, who's about to join into the whole circle thing. Um, Even after her, BB is even creating a mistress. So this is just proof that he will always want more. 4 or 5 women are not going to be enough for him, and as much as they are enough in the house, um, you know, yeah, there's always be room for more. So,
So, what did, and the other part of the question was, what did he like about each of them that drew him to them?
well, there was the feistiness in Nixie. She's a big cunt on her own, so he loves that. Contessa, she has her loyalty. She's devoted to him, and now being the mother of his children, he has a lot more fondness for her. Um, then you have the witch. The little purple haired Vic. What's she purple? No, it's red hair, isn't it? She's got red hair.
I think it's more of like a in between purple and
He
pink.
likes that. She's different.
Like
She's
he's
like the other girl. She's got a different look about herself. The tricks that she played on him.
and she likes playing tricks on
Exactly.
people.
It's the trickery. And I think she's gonna bring out that fun part of Sevi that we've not really seen in a long, long time. And that in itself is a new tale right there. Um but his attraction for Kat runs in the same category as Nixie. However, Kat is the female version of Sevanni, so it makes it a little bit harder to grab her and tame her like the lioness that she is, simply because she is very much like him, even though she's not his yet. Emphasis on the word yet. um, I mean, it's a different thing with each and every one of them. Like I said, there's not one thing to pinpoint. It's a multitude. You know what I mean? With the cop, with Kira,
Yeah.
it was or Kyra. I don't know how she wanted to pronounce it, but I always pronounced it Kira. She was human. That was what he loved about her. That she was mortal and very brazen and very bold, and she was a cop with a gun. And you can't kill Sevanni with a freaking 45. So, you know, there's a lot of different things to each of his passionate women.
And I think this was from Ixie, so they wanted to know who, like, what did he like about her,
Um,
including Ixie.
her sultriness, sensual, sultry, very. I mean, it wasn't always about the sex, and it wasn't just sexual thing, but she was his Marilyn Monroe. We'll put it like that,
Aww.
right?
All right. What is the really what is really going on with that company of Savannis?
um, I created BioLite to recreate the serum, and I also created BioLite to come up with some new innovative ways to use the human race to the vampire advantage. And if you go back into the movies, you get to see, like in one vampire movie, how they farmed humans for blood. That was a concept that I created a long time before the movie even came out, which really pisses me off when some of these movies come out because I think that they're reading the shit that we write and using it before we can. Um, so harvesting humans for blood was one of the very first original ideas because we wanted to enslave the werewolves, weremutts, I should say, and we wanted to enslave the humans to succumb to the vampire, feed the vampire. That was, you know, that was the key to feed vampire and support them. But now it's creating vampire children, coming up with a solution to expand on the idea of, hey, we know Sevanni find children under 18 turn to be illegal in his world, even if it's not recognized through the rest of the community of vampires, covens, etc. In his coven, he does not like under
Mm-hmm.
18 vampires. He thinks it's cruel, and so basically impregnating vampire women to have vampire children is one of the things that I'd like to really explore. And I don't want to bring that to Van Helsing, where Dracula tried to have, his wives have babies, etc., or bats. It's nothing like that. This is straight laboratory. And your character, Miss Kitten Brown,
Mm-hmm.
she's a part of the process, and
Yes.
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Oh yeah. I can't wait till the origin project goes
It's gonna be spectacular.
the
Yeah.
origin pro. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
Mm.
So, okay.
Are you tired yet?
Any regrets when it comes to lovers? For him, is there any regrets when it comes to lovers?
Yes. Yes, there's two. Um, I had a character named Sindel. I mentioned that where she did the chopstick through the ear. Uh, they were actually married. I had Sevi and Sindel married. And that is actually Damien's mother. I don't know if you knew that. Um, but that was a regret, and Aubrey was a regret as well. I mean, they were loves, loves of his life, but bad things happened in the end, and even though he's grown from it, I think it was a bad choice to be with those two women. They weren't really right for him in the long run, but because of their cockiness, again, it falls back onto the Sevi Nixie issue. They're enemies,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but something drew them together, and that's what happened. And Aubrey was drawn to Savani because he gained control of the coven. She was someone who wanted power, or someone who wanted to be with someone of power, just like when she was with I think his name was Xavier. He officially originally had the coven in his hands, and once Savani took that over, then she fell from him to Savani, and that wasn't really a good relationship. So
Yeah. Do you feel that Damien's and Savani's relationship is like rocky because of his rocky relationship with his
oh,
mother?
definitely, definitely. Um, I mean, he was the first successful product of a creation that ended up going bad. So Damien is actually, his first creation of son. He wasn't birthed. So, and for him to take his mother's side over Savani, which I actually brought over to CKH, um, even if it wasn't Damien, it was with Kellen. I think I used Kellen on CKH for that. Um, there's tension there. I mean, he's the heir. He is the one who, if he could, he would take down Savani and claim the throne as his own. So you also have that to really, compute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, why did you pick Alaska to be where Sevanni was made?
um, well, okay. The, when Savani when Savani and his wife were together, they lived at the time the states weren't the states. States were consisted of four parts. And anybody who looks at an old map knows what I'm talking about. Um, right now the state is called Montana, and up there, is a lot of farmland. And him and his wife lived on a farm, lots of land. They had their cattle, their sheep, all that stuff. And he just ventured out one night following a noise, and somehow after a long, long journey, he wound up. I I don't even know how, but he ended up in Alaska, like a cave of some sort. It was at the borderline of Alaska. And as you delve further into the cave, you go deeper into Alaska, and that's where he was made. And he was made by three of the, and in my story, it's the three original vampires. Whoever made them, we haven't gone into that yet, but um, that's where he was created. And I want to help you visualize something. And if you watch Smallville, and you look at his Fortress of Solitude, it's sort of like that, but a little darker. So if Zod had that Fortress of Solitude, that's what it would look like. Um, so, and I think that's also a reason why a lot of his fledglings flock to Alaska. That's where the blood comes from. That's where the blood lives. That's where the blood was born. And so to create and finish off all of his fledglings, I think that's why they flee there. But we're still developing that storyline. So I don't want to say anything that could be like, oh, that's not what it is. And you know what I mean? So yeah, let's
Yeah.
develop that a little bit more, and then we'll talk about that at another time. Cha cha cha.
Why has Sevanni never actually killed Catra? He's had her prisoner many times and could have done so at those points. So what keeps him from doing so?
Um, the obvious would be he's in love with her. He's in love with her. And each day he looks at Mina, he sees her, and he thinks about her. Um, it's I don't want to compare it to a Savani Phoenix, love story. They have their own little thing going on, but at the end of the day, he loves her and he wants her. And as much as he's gonna hurt her and maim her and torture her, as far as it may go, he still wants to be with her. And eventually he'll show her. And maybe tell her. We don't know, but it might happen.
Yeah, anything can happen now on Crimson War.
Anything.
What does Sev crave more, power or love?
Power. Definitely power. I don't know any evil that wouldn't want more power. And even though he's not truly evil, he has love in his heart, but that'll never be enough. I think he wants the world, and I think he'll do anything to get that.
Yeah. All the sick ones want power.
But they're all so sexy. Why are all the cute ones so sick in the head?
Whatever happened to the vampire who sired Sev?
Well, again, we wrap around to the three vampires that turned him. No one really knows. He's not destroyed them. Um, after he was turned and he came to, there was only one left behind, who was the youngest of the three vampire creators. And he was the one who guided Sevanni as little as he did. As for all of them, I don't know where they are today. They could make an appearance sometime in the future. We never know. So yeah.
Awesome. If Sevanni were to have been a werewolf instead of a vampire, what changes do you think would have happened?
Mm. If Savani was a werewolf, he'd be more like Ezra. Um, I don't think that he would be so vindictive and controlling and power hungry. I think he would be more reserved. So, I mean, right now Savani's really self-entitled. If you know Savani now, I think he would be a lot, well, yeah, a lot of the opposite. He'd be more like his brother.
Yeah. All right. Last
Oh, wait a minute.
question.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Does
minute.
Sav-
I have a special question from Miss Kia. So we'll have to make that the last
Oh.
question. She got her question in very late. I'm sorry. So out of this question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you want to do that question first or this
Let's do
one?
your question first. That's fine.
Okay. Does Savani have any old vampire loves that he lost track of who might still be alive? Hint, waiting to be made either NPC by you or a playable by someone else.
Hmm. Uh, Vampire Savani. Um, Not really. I don't think so. Um, as far as human Savani on other form, but yeah, with human Savani, sure, but with vampire Savani, no, absolutely not. I'm sorry. I just don't think there is anyone that he. No, I don't believe so. I mean, if somebody out there wants to be, Savani's lover, just come at me and let me know. Maybe we can work something out. But I don't think his current women would appreciate it as of yet. Too many. So no. um.
Okay, let's reveal this ominous question that came out of nowhere.
Okay. Kia writes. Well, I guess my main two would be why Savani finds Crystal so attractive and why. This is actually a question on Crimson Kiss High. Um, I like Alicia Keys, and Alicia Keys plays Crystal Owens. There's the face claim of Crystal Owens, and I think I'm a mocha girl. I'm black and white. My skin is mocha, and I love that. I've not been with a mocha person until my current significant other. Um, so I think being with someone of the opposite race or someone of a different race is something that really excites him because he's never been with anything other than a white girl. So and that's so fucked up and tragic of me to say, but it's gotta be the color of her skin. But she's so sweet and she's very artistic, plays the piano, and he loves women of skill. So, um, and then she continues on to ask, Evan had been gunning for Rand because it couldn't have just been over Tilly. And did any of your characters have crushes on my character in any of the universes? Um, Evan does not like Rand, and it is simply because of Tilly. So yes, it is definitely because of Tilly. Evan has always loved Tilly, since they were kids. And finally confessing his love to Tilly was something that was hard for him to do. And so to have that just ripped from underneath him over something that he couldn't bring himself to do is something that took him over the edge. And even though he had his suspicions about Tilly and Rand, which obviously came true, Um, I think that drove him a little bit more crazy than he was. He loved Tilly. And any on her characters of the universes. Honestly, I've got to say no. Um, because we hadn't been as interactive on CK that than we had been on CKH. So, um, my honest answer is no. I'm sorry, but and I mean, Kia makes a lot of Asian characters too, and that's not really my thing. I mean, I'm not racist or prejudiced, but my I tend to pair my characters up with people who would complement them in certain ways, and the characters that Kia creates are specifically for certain plot lines, or she loves Asian characters. Other than Rand, obvious, I think is very sexy. You know, um, I think that's about it. Wait, wasn't Cody one of her characters? Yes, Cody was a hottie. No, was it Cody was hers, and then Phoenix took over Cody? Or was it vice versa? Somebody played Cody. Anyway, he's fucking sexy.
I don't know. I'm not. I haven't gone that far back.
Yeah, I think it was Kodiak. I don't remember, but yeah, that's about it. I think we're done for the night.
All
What was
right.
that? 15 hours of interview?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, DC Evers, aka
Thank
Sevi.
you.
And if you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel because we would love the love. Please give us the love. And we will have to say
Thank you for
goodnight.
having me.
Night.
Night.